In the graduate level 5, we are focusing on two main areas. Self-defense, of course, and here we are dealing with the advanced pistol threats. The other subject is the warrior level, the fighting. We are dealing with segments of fight, fractions of a fight, of a combat, how to respond to the opponent's response, the attack, defend, attack sequence. In the practitioner level, we were working towards making you a fighter. Not to stop, not to give up, to be focused, to be determined. In the G level, we are working towards the warrior level. How to better your fighting capabilities, that's one thing, and naturally how to respond better to the opponent's response. The attack, defend, attack is the example for that. When you approach these subjects, especially the attack, defend, attack, invest time in training slowly. When you train slow here, you'll learn much faster. Switch kicks. Switching between two kicks, this is a rapid rhythm that enables you to deliver two or more kicks in a shorter time. Two knees in a switch, sending two knees one after the other. The principle in the switching kicks is that when you recoil the first kick, then the second kick starts going towards the target. There's no jump in the first kick, however, there is sort of a hop between the end of the first kick and the beginning of the second kick. There is a moment that two legs are in the air. This is done very close to the ground. Two switch knee kicks, two pads, and in dry drill. Two regular kicks in a switch. First and second kicks one after the other. The switch, meaning two legs are in the air very close to the ground. One should feel that the legs, while kicking, are doing sort of a scissor action, a strong one. The first kick can be either with the front or with the back leg, and the second kick is with the other one. Two fast kicks, hitting and landing one after the other. You could see this with a dry drill, done slowly, or with hitting the targets. Balance the upper body correctly so you can gain maximum reach with each kick. Regular kick and a roundhouse kick in a switch. Again, there is a moment where two legs are in the air, very close to the ground. The first kick hits the target and recoils, and then the second kick starts. In order to enable an efficient roundhouse kick, the best will be if the first kick will be landing, preparing the body, preparing the torque of the pelvis, so the roundhouse kick will be efficient. We are demonstrating here kicking two targets. So the first kick goes to groin level more or less, and the second kick goes with the shin or instep towards the thigh of the opponent. In reality, naturally, we prefer to kick strong with the ball of the foot to the knee or to the lower ribs, all according to the preference and the capabilities of the performer himself. Also in the dry drill, you see the switch close to the ground, and you see that the landing of the first kick is practically a preparation for the second kick. So the toes of the base leg are already pointing outward to enable the roundhouse kick. Side kick and a back kick in a switch. The trainee is doing a side kick, recoils, turns and do a back kick. The recoil is fast, the turning is fast, the landing of course is very fast, and the back kick should find its way to the target as soon as possible. The first kick lands already with the toes away from the target to enable the back kick. The point of landing of the first kick should be located correctly so the second kick will hit its target. The second kick can be a defensive kick backwards or with more of a turn, a bit more similar to a side kick. However, the idea is to give a very early second kick, which means the knee of the kicking leg should be directed relatively downwards. Also in the dry drill, we see the two kicks, we see the recoil, and we see the switch. In this switch here, as in the previous techniques, there is a moment while two legs are in the air and rather close to the ground. Additional defenses against kicks, using the legs or using strong body motions. An upward shin kick against a roundhouse kick. The attacker is kicking a relatively low roundhouse kick towards your shin or lower part of the body. Raising your leg with a shin kick from below the opponent's leg is only partly blocking his leg but mainly lifting it upwards. Your shin is striking the opponent's leg in the area of the knee or his shin. This depends on the opponent's shin position and knee position. Looking from above, there's more or less 90 degrees between your shin and its target, area of the knee or area of the opponent's shin. From the side when you look at it, it's practically striking the opponent's leg from below. It is common that this kick is usually done with your front leg. While doing this leg defense, which is practically an attack, your front hand, the corresponding hand, should be ready. Maybe the kick of the opponent is climbing up and being sent towards your upper body. Follow the defense with additional counterattacks. Both in the partner drill and also in the dry drill, you can see that the defending leg is lifted. The knee as a joint is more open and the shin is striking from below. In most cases, you are sending your leg and your shin in an angle sideways to meet the attacking leg at 90-degree angle from below. Please note that there's no 90 degrees angle of a block, just the direction between the shin of the attacker and the director that is coming to your shin, which is rising from below. In order to execute this technique, one has to have more of an attacking response and not a defensive last moment response. Follow with additional counterattacks and the finishing mode. Move away from the danger zone is one of the options. In the dry drill, you see the process of the technique. Raising the leg a little bit, raising more, raising and kicking, and raising and kicking and continuing. Bursting forward with a down knee strike against a low side kick. The attacker is advancing and delivering a side kick. If the side kick is low, the following technique is very efficient against it. The defender is lifting his leg. The knee is coming up and then lands on the area of the thigh or the knee of the opponent. Landing from above, sort of a chopping action that is sending the kicking leg downwards. Like this, the kicking leg of the opponent misses any target. Raising the knee and the shin should be high. While raising the shin, you are moving forward. So you are moving your body in comparison to your base leg. So the hips are moving forward while the base leg stays more behind. This way, your forward knee, the defending one, has got a longer reach. Your shin is tilted backwards and a bit to the side. This enables it to catch a wider area and have better chances in chopping down and meeting the opponent's leg. Chopping down is being done with the thigh, the shin, and also the hips are assisting in generating force and momentum downwards. Striking the opponent's leg, and as soon as possible, you should be using your hands, usually to trap the opponent's hand and counterattacking with your backhand. Continue with additional counterattacks and the finishing mode. This technique is efficient whether the attacker is kicking with his left or right leg. Almost always this technique is being done with the front leg only. In the dry drill, we see the progression of this technique, meaning raising the leg higher, raising the leg and sliding forward sometimes to be able to catch the attacker earlier. Do it with striking downwards, that is practically the defense, and continuing with counterattacks. Attacker starts from rather a large distance, advances and kicks towards your groin. Starting, for example, from passive stance, you do a drastic body motion, crossing your heels, using advanced crossings to the side, and kicking with the leg to each direction you are moving. Here your left leg moves under and behind your right leg, definitely in sort of a hopping action. This is done as usually with the advancing of side kicks or roundhouse kicks with the crossing actions, enabling the kicking leg to kick very early and fast towards its target. When you move to the live side of the opponent, he is very much exposed. So your kicking leg finds a comfortable target. Continue with additional counterattacks, all as needed. In the dry drill, you see the switching of the legs, moving away from the line and the channel of the attack, and delivering an early counterattack to the opponent's groin. As the attacker is advancing to kick, you see his move and his intention, you've got enough time to do this technique. If you do the technique fast and strong, you'll be able to hit the opponent's groin before his leg is extended, meaning before he managed really to kick. The essence of this technique, strong body motion out of the line of the channel of the attack. Against a regular kick to the groin, sidestepping with a straight punch, follow with a regular kick with the rear leg. The moment the attacker is advancing to kick you, while he is proceeding still with the advance, you strongly move to the live side preferably. As you move, you are doing a sidestep diagonally forward with a strong body torque and a straight punch. The straight punch aims to pull your body and turn it, so you pivot the upper body and the pelvis area, that's one. And also it aims to disturb the opponent. In most cases, you will not be able to reach and hit the opponent with this strike unless you started from an outlet stance or the opponent was charging forward and his body will be very much tilting forward, so you are able to reach him. Normally, you will not be able to reach him if you start from passive stance. However, this strike aims to disturb the attack, to draw some of his attention. The real attack follows immediately afterwards when the pelvis returns and the back leg is kicking rapidly. So the body defense goes with the hop one direction and then rapidly returns in the other direction. The essence of this technique, jump diagonally sideways with a strong body turn and a strike, and return rapidly, kicking with the back leg. Continue with more counterattacks. The dry drill shows exactly the body motion in the two directions. Please pay attention also the position and the change of position of legs. Advanced techniques against a threat with a pistol when the attacker is at your side or behind, at far or at very tight range. Neutralizing a pistol threat far from behind or diagonally from the side. You notice a pistol threat relatively far from you. The angle is either from behind or diagonally from behind. The initial response is, of course, looking and then acting. As in the basic technique against a threat from the front, one is doing a hand defense, a body defense, a good control, counterattack, and then a finishing mode with disarming. Send your hand from below, reach the pistol from the side, and then deflect it sideways. As in the technique from the front, the thumb should be low, the fingers should be high. The body defense, leaning and moving practically diagonally backwards, should take the target, the head, the body, the elbow of the defending hand, away from the line and the channel of the attack. Straighten your elbow and push the pistol away from you. Naturally, one should move towards the attacker. So the same leg as the defending hand is moving diagonally backwards with the body turn. As soon as possible, the advancing leg should land with the toes towards the attacker. One should cover the distance as soon as possible. Strong, fast and early body turn will enable the backhand to strike at the opponent's head. All this time, the pistol is kept relatively high. You should not take the pistol down because it will be directed towards your body. Keep it high and sideways, away from you. Think about straightening your elbow, even if it is not so practical to do it. Grabbing the pistol should be rather deep, meaning the index finger should go to around the area of the hammer, the back of the gun. The grip should definitely be strong and should be pushing the gun towards the opponent to overcome any pulling reaction from the attacker's side. Continue to move around the opponent, reaching as soon as possible to the side of the opponent. After the first counterattack, the striking hand should go to double control, meaning grab the opponent's wrist, continuing with multiple counterattacks and disarm the opponent. Disarming is a pulling-pushing technique. The hand holding the pistol should push it with a turn, sending the barrel towards the opponent. The other hand, now it is the front hand, should pull the wrist and the forearm. These two actions disarm the opponent. Remember to keep the barrel relatively high, more or less horizontal. Finishing mode, you can continue to counterattack and move away from the danger zone. If needed, one can use the gun as a firearm. As in other techniques against the pistol, one may need to do a double control before the first counterattack. This is especially correct if you feel that you have lack of control or some difficulty, we deliver the first counterattack with the backhand. We see here the hand defense, the body defense, moving diagonally backwards while turning the body towards the opponent, and the backhand is grabbing, latching, controlling the opponent's wrist area. Continue with counterattacks, and then with a pull-push technique, disarm the opponent. In case that you could not direct your grip towards the pistol, it could be directed towards the wrist of the hand holding the pistol. This is especially common and important when you have one eye looking at the gun. If you have got one eye looking at the gun, practically you have a two-dimensional vision. Your far eye, here the left eye, didn't have a direct line and unable to see the pistol. This is because the head didn't turn enough. It is important that the area of the back of the hand of the opponent will be grabbed and pushed away from you. If not, if you are grabbing the forearm, there are chances that the wrist will be bent while you push the gun away from you, while you push the arm away from you. Like this, the pistol will be redirected towards you. The problem is that the defense itself is creating it and not a response by the opponent. Immediately after the grip, as usual, you either strike the opponent or go to double control. Double control here should be with the far hand, here the left hand, grabbing the lower part of the forearm where it is relatively thin. Continue with multiple counterattacks and then disarm the opponent. Here the disarming will be turning a bit more, grabbing the pistol with the far hand, rotate it towards the opponent and over the upper arm and pulling it away from the opponent's hand. While you grab the pistol, your thumb should be in the area of the hammer, the back side of the gun. At this moment, your response technique brought you to the live side of the opponent. Practically, the technique is the same. The hand defense reaches from below, the thumb is low, the fingers are high. Deflect and grab pistol, push it sideways and towards the opponent. The body defense, turning, leaning, moving towards the opponent. The closed leg is moving out of the channel, like in the previous techniques and the variations. This is exactly the same principle as in the technique against pistol threat from the front. Counterattack with the backhand, the strong body turn, and the pivot. In all these techniques, practically when you start moving, you are moving on the balls of the feet, while static, the front leg is on the foot and the back leg is on the ball of the foot. Continue with double control, meaning grabbing the opponent's wrist area. Disarm the gun in 2 stages, turning and then pulling it away. All this time, one can deliver strong knee kicks. Please remember, it is much better to do it with the back leg. Like this, you're much more behind the gun and away from the channel. After disarming, finishing mode, that can be done with more counterattacks. Here, at the end of the situation, we are moving away from the opponent. Naturally, one can use the weapon as needed. However, take into consideration, you may be considered as a dangerous person by people around you, and maybe law enforcement or any other relevant officers who may be in the area. Dealing with a tight, very close pistol threat from the side. The attacker reaches from the side, he puts your pistol to your ribs, behind your arm, and grabs you with the other hand. Threats like this are relatively common. The idea of the attacker is to control you tightly, put some strong mental pressure on you, and also the threat and the situation will be hardly seen by people who may be located around you. Hand defense, body defense, control, and counterattack. And naturally, a finishing mode. The hand defense is really divided to 2. The first one is that the closed hand is deflecting the gun itself, the pistol, towards the opponent. This deflection is done best with the bony part of the forearm. Strong pivot of the body on the balls of the feet will bring the far hand closer to the opponent. Drop that shoulder, it will bring your palm closer to the wrist of the opponent, and also will level your elbow and your forearm with the forearm and wrist of the opponent. Like this, you can deflect the pistol and the hand holding it sideways and not downwards, which is definitely very dangerous. Grab the wrist, continue to move to the side of the opponent and even a bit behind him. As soon as possible, you can also deliver a light headbutt to the opponent's head. The strong pivot on the balls of the feet brought you, and bending a bit the closed leg, sends your body diagonally forward and very rapidly. The closed hand, the one that was deflecting with the forearm, is sliding upwards until there's a grip. This grip is with the thumb up. Continue as soon as possible with grabbing the pistol itself and kneeing the opponent. Then pull the pistol and the hand holding it and turn the pistol so its slide will go under the opponent's forearm. This is disarming technique. Continue with additional counterattacks as needed and move away from the danger zone. You can see the process of the hand defense, the body defense, the moving diagonally forward, the control and disarm from these couple of angles. Dealing with a tight pistol threat from behind. The moment you noticed the problem, it's already rather late and the attacker is very close to you. The attacker may also grab your area of shoulder or trapeze muscle. Rotating and grabbing the opponent's forearm may be impossible as his forearm is very tight to his body. So there is a difficulty with the hand defense. Pivoting the body, turning and moving diagonally backwards, as in the regular defense against a threat from behind, is partly possible. However, because the attacker grabs your trapeze area, there is a difficulty in doing it. The solution is grabbing and pulling the opponent's elbow. Like this, you can insert the defending hand and wrap it around the opponent's forearm. Pulling the opponent's elbow towards you creates space and distance between his elbow, his forearm, and his body, the ribs area. Practically, this is a technique of double control. Rapidly, you are practically moving to the side and then behind the pistol, so you are safe. The far leg, especially after the stepping and pivoting, is very quickly becoming a front leg. What was the closed leg becomes a back leg, and you're kicking to the groin, to the thigh area, to the solar plexus, all depending on the angle and the possibilities, naturally and only with your back leg. Continue with additional counterattacks, can be with the back knee or with the hand that was controlling the elbow, and then with that hand, disarm the opponent. The disarming is a basic disarming technique, grabbing the pistol, turning it and pulling it away from the opponent's hand. Finishing mode as usual, with more counterattacks as needed and moving away from the danger zone. Attack, defend, attack. Responding to the opponent's response. Practically, this subject belongs to the warrior level, meaning constantly aware of what the opponent is doing, responding to it, like this, foiling the enemy's actions. The principle is you as the attacker attack, the opponent is doing a counteraction against you, meaning defending, counter-attacking, and you're responding with the relevant defenses, specific techniques, counterattacks, and overcoming the aggressor, the enemy. These are practically fractions of a fight, of combat. You are the attacker. You start with a regular kick to the groin. The opponent is doing a defense and counterattack. Here in the example, your enemy is doing a stabbing hand defense against the regular kick and counterattacking as soon as he can. Your job is to respond, meaning comprehend as soon as possible, process and react. In this example, a defense against his counterattack, continuing with your counterattacks and disabling the attacker. As you move to kick, you should be very observant and be ready for every response from the opponent's side. When you see that the opponent is moving, you direct your actions towards the opponent. Here in the example, because your hands are relatively open and the enemy is attacking you with a straight strike between your hands, you will do an inside defense and continue to counterattack. It is important here to recoil your kicking leg. This will enable you to direct all your resources, two hands, two legs, towards the opponent. In a dry drill, you can see the initial attack, the kick, the response, the hand defense, and the counterattack, while moving, landing towards the opponent. In this example, your initial position and movement, together with the opponent's response, brought his attacking hand in an angle for you to execute an outside defense against his attack. Kick and respond to the opponent's response with an outside defense and counterattacks. Continue with multiple counterattacks and move away from the danger zone, continuing to the next mission. You are kicking with a roundhouse kick The opponent is responding with defenses and counterattacks. In this example, the attacker is delivering a high roundhouse kick towards the head or the upper body of his enemy. The opponent is defending with two forearms, moving diagonally forward and counterattacking. You are the attacker, you need to deal with his response, especially his counterattacks. While recoiling your roundhouse kick, move your body and land forward while delivering a hammer punch towards the opponent's head. This hammer strike is really done in an angle to meet the opponent's attacking forearm. If your attack will be horizontal, there may be a situation that the attacker is hitting you above or below your hammer strike. In this case, you should send a strike in an angle that will also serve as a defense. Send your forearm and your hammer fist towards the opponent's head. Put pressure on the opponent's forearm and continue striking with your backhand. You must not take the opponent's hand down, as if you do it too early, his backhand will be able to reach you. Overall, you kick, you defend, and you continue with more counterattacks. In the dry drill, you can see the high roundhouse kick. The front hand continues with an attack which is a bit more forward than sideways. Forward meaning towards the opponent's head, and the backhand continues first with a straight punch. The third attack that you are delivering here gives an example of a stop kick as an opponent's response. You deliver here a side kick. As you move in, your enemy delivers a side kick towards your leg. By the way, it can be other kicks directed towards your pelvis or your thigh area. You are still in the process of advancing towards the opponent, so you can use your closed hand to deflect his kick and counterattack with your closed leg. So advance, start your kick, defend the opponent's kick, of course after you detected it, and continue with counterattacks. First with the leg, then with the front hand, close hand to the opponent, and then whatever is needed, continue to do it. If the opponent will be late and your kick will be already on the way to striking your enemy, and your head and upper body and shoulder will be distant and not able to defend the kick, the only thing that you can do is slow down a bit, do not get hit by a strong stop kick, and continue as needed. You deliver a straight punch. The opponent is responding and counterattacking. So the opponent is doing an inside defense and responding with a straight punch by himself. While delivering your attack, you should be aware of the opponent's actions and reactions. As you recall your initial strike, you should be ready for any response or action by the opponent. If you have an early response, naturally you will manage to defend the opponent's punch and counterattack. We advise first of all to counterattack with the knee because your hands are rather busy. Then continue with other strikes and counterattacks as needed. So you're punching with the right, you're defending with the left, and then you continue with additional counterattacks with the legs and with the hand. This technique is also characteristic to the subject of attack, defend, attack. Respond to the opponent's reaction. Attack, defend, attack, while the opponent is moving towards your dead side. While the enemy is executing his defense techniques and counterattacks, he is moving towards your dead side. There is difficulty in defending such a situation. The solution that we give here is keeping a safe distance while continuing with kicks in order to eliminate the problem. As you see that the attacker is successful with his defense and body moves, which puts him at an angle and distance to endanger your head, for example, you lower yourself from moving away. So after the first kick, you land and with the base leg move away to the correct distance and kick with the same leg as was kicking before. Naturally, the kick should be something between the side kick and the defensive kick backwards. The opponent is practically behind you or diagonally behind you. Finishing mode, more counterattacks, move away from the danger zone as usual. It is clear that the relative angle between you and the opponent has changed relatively drastically. Maybe because of the enemy's body movements or because the hand defense span you a bit. In the dry drill we see the first attack, the side kick, landing with a bit of a turn, simulating that the opponent has created a spin in your body, move the base leg and kick the opponent. So the second kick is here done with the same leg that delivered the first kick. Attack, defend, attack Here the opponent reaches the medium range, so the appropriate solution will be lower your head and the shoulder area and strike with a hammer strike backwards. Lowering the head and the area of the shoulder blades prevents the opponent from reaching the vulnerable areas in your neck or head. After the second attack, meaning the hammer strike, continue as needed with moving away or with additional attacks. Attack, defend, attack drill while the opponent managed to enter and to advance to your back. In addition, the defense of the opponent could have spanned you more. So while landing, you find yourself in a spinning action. The best solution, because you are moving in one direction and the opponent is moving in the other direction, will be to counterattack with a spin, to continue attacking with spinning attacks. Here the example is land at the appropriate distance and kick backwards with a defensive kick or partly a side kick backwards. As you do this, you should lower the head and the upper body. This will take your enemy's target, meaning your head, spine, neck, away from him, and you will be able also to see the legs and the pelvis of the opponent. Naturally, if you're looking below your body. Like this, you can deliver a very early spin kick while able to see the opponent's legs and location. If executed correctly, your spinning kick will be early enough, and also you'll be able to foil any kicks from the opponent's side. In the dry drill, you see the first side kick, the spin, lowering of the body, landing in the correct range to enable a kick backwards. Attack, defend, attack, continuing with the response of a spinning hammer strike. As before, you started with a side kick, the opponent managed to defend, spin you with the impact of the hand defense, and also the enemy is moving towards your dead side. As the enemy reaches a medium range, now the best solution will be a hammer strike to his head. Execute a spinning hammer strike with your far hand, with your rear hand. At this moment, your head and shoulder area should be low, but your body is not bent too much forward at the waist area. Like this, you can reach the opponent on one hand, and on the other side, you are not vulnerable and not reachable towards his strikes towards your head. In order to be accurate with spinning hammer strike, here's an example. Spinning hammer strike with a low head and low shoulder area. In the regular spinning hammer strike that we did earlier in the P levels, it was rather easy to locate and strike the target. Here there is a bit of a higher level of difficulty because your head and shoulder area should be low, but still your hammer strike should be horizontal. While bending the upper body, you have a tendency to lift the arm. This training here is to regulate you in spinning hammer strike while lowering your head and shoulders area, still keeping a horizontal strike, hitting a designated target. And here we bring the application of this training method with a partner who holds target. You kick, you spin, and you strike. Train to be accurate in your strikes. Drilling according to the principles of attack, defend, attack. This is practically a practice. You are the attacker. You execute a certain attack. It can be a kick, can be a punch, any type of strike. Your partner who simulates an enemy is doing any type of response, usually some defense and counterattacks. Your job is to respond. While sending your first attack, you should be aware, awake, responding, responsive, and deal correctly with your opponent's actions. We are reaching here different types of situations, angles, ranges, and so on. The first phase is that your partner, who simulates an enemy, knows in advance what you are going to deliver. Thus, the partner is responding every time with a different solution. Your job is to detect as early as possible your partner's responses and reactions and foil them, deal with them, fail him. We see here examples of an attacker who attacks with a regular kick. The partner is responding every time with different solutions. Then, against a roundhouse kick, partner respond with different techniques. And a side kick also. You start with a side kick, the partner, the enemy is responding. Every time you should detect, like a radar, his responses and react to them as soon as possible. React with defenses, with attacks and counterattacks, with moving to the right directions and angle, in changing ranges, all in order to foil the opponent. Overcoming a situation where your kicking leg has been caught. You kick the opponent and he managed to trap and grab your leg. What are the dangers? One, that the opponent will advance and throw you, and the other one, that the opponent will kick you. These are the two dangers really. Your job is to prevent this, doing this in the following manner. Try to strike the opponent as soon as you can with one of your free hands. Another option is to grab the opponent, trap him. Because this is a range of a leg, you should advance as soon as you can, pushing your leg through the grip. So with a push of the hips, you are sending your knee forward, your leg forward, your shin is sliding inside the opponent's wrapped hand. With your base leg, you can jump and kick the opponents with a knee kick to the groin. This usually you can do only after trapping the opponent's body, neck, shoulder area. If the enemy is still holding you, bend your knee and kick your foot diagonally backwards while leaning forward. This will take your leg out from the trap. To conclude, your actions are composed of advancing, attacking, trapping, and releasing your leg, all sequenced as early as possible. You can see the technique from the reverse angle, especially the essence of bending the knee and sending the leg backwards towards the ground. Training in fight, meaning dealing with confrontations at close and very close ranges. First, we start with practice of dealing with any type of attack at the medium or long range, moving in, counter-attacking, and moving out. Here is one example. At close range, dealing with different attacks. The attacker is attacking at medium speed. The attacks are different hand strikes, elbow strikes, different punches, and knee kicks at the short ranges. Every time the attacker is generating a specific attack, your job is to foil it, meaning do the appropriate hand and body defenses, the earliest counterattack, continuing with more counterattacks, and a finishing mode. One after the other, your partner plays the attacker and strikes and kicks with whatever is on his mind. It's obvious that most of the attacks at these ranges are circular attacks. The hooks, the uppercuts, the hammers, the elbow strikes, the knee kick. Early identification, fast decision making, medium speed defending and counter-attacking, appropriate to the speed of the opponent. This is the essence of this technique. One can also use different takedowns when it comes to tight ranges and also when it comes to delivering counter-attacks. Slow fighting within fight. The essence of this drill, naturally, is sort of a fighting game, is both you and your partner are playing slow fight. Slow fight, as before, it's full contact training with very slow and soft attacks. Remember, in the fast and the slow fight, one is doing the same mistakes. It's about the identification and decision making, especially under stress. Slow fighting at close range, the slow in fight, is a great tool to improve yourself in this direction. You can see two different couples training on this, including attempts to grab and to throw, including dealing with strikes, kicks, moving in, moving out. Most of the time, you should be focusing on defenses and counterattacks, attacks and responses at the in-fight range, the close range and the very close range. Slow fighting, here we take downs. One of the guys have a mission to try to take down his partner. If you manage to prevent, great. If not, while you're being taken down slowly, get used to attacking, to counter-attacking, and dealing with the opponent while you're on the way to the ground and after you reached the ground. Continuing attacker. In order to reach the higher level of the fighter and warrior capabilities, one has to regulate himself to constantly deal with the changes of situations. From one situation to another, from one solution to another, from one response to another, from one technique to another. Here the example of continuing attacker, starting from situation on the ground. This is just an example where the attacker tried to choke you. Your responses, your defenses, especially your counterattacks, did not eliminate the opponent's abilities to continue and attacking you. So the attacker continues. You need to deal with it. Whatever the attacker is doing, you have to respond. The angle changes, the situation changes. You may need to do inside and outside defenses, different types of counterattacks, getting up, moving away, continuing with counterattacks, all according to the situation, all according to the needs. Practice diligently. Drill for mental focusing. The data that is reaching your mind from the eyes is making it busy, sometimes disturbed. The idea is to control the mind by controlling the eyes. This drill of focusing on a point is an example for a strong drill that is directing and focusing your mind, and with it, the body and the breathing. Stand at about 2.5–3 meters from a black point with a diameter of about 1 inch. Relax your face muscles, relax your shoulder muscles, relax your hands. Stand straight, focus your gaze on the point. Try not to blink, definitely do not move. Feel your breathing, be witness for your breathing. A drill like this can start with about 3–4 minutes. Reaching the level of 10 or 15 minutes is considered good. If you find yourself thinking of any thoughts, if suddenly you are aware that you have an internal monologue, acknowledge it and drop it. Focus back on the point, feel the breathing, do not move. Focusing and relaxing exercise while sitting. Just sit comfortably and straight in a chair. Focus on your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Pay attention to the process of the breathing. Especially put attention to the points and moments that the air is changing direction, meaning from inhale to exhale and from exhale to inhale. Pay attention to the whole process. Try to slow it down. If you feel comfortable in stopping your breathing, it is definitely a possibility and a good drill to practice. However, definitely you should pay attention to the moments that you stop the breathing and start breathing again. Focus on the moment that you inhale, stop the inhale, then start the exhale. These moments of stopping and starting, put more attention to them. While you do this, you can be with eyes closed, sit comfortably, and do not move your body. In the early phase of the exercising, I suggest that you pay attention to the different parts of the body also. Feel if they are relaxed or contracted. One good way of doing it is to contract a specific area, like the muscles in the face, or the shoulders, or the neck, and then relax them. Automatically you can reach much higher level of relaxation. This contract and relax is a very efficient tool to relax your whole body, from the top of your head to the toes of your legs, or from the toes of the feet to the top of your head. Breathing is done in a very relaxed manner. From losing to winning, investing in loss practically, is a drill that is reducing the anxiety and fear from getting hurt and dying. One visualizes and also acts, simulating situations from the worst defeat to the most successful response. We simulate and visualize here two problems, one against an overhead attack with a stick, the other is defending a straight stab with a knife. One should visualize the attacker and act with the appropriate responses that are relevant to the stage that you are in the drill. Dry drill of the full techniques are shown here against an overhead stick attack and against a knife in a straight stab. This is the example of a successful situation. Total defeat. Visualize the attacker striking you strongly several times, and due to that you fall down, badly hurt, and sort of a black curtain is covering your eyes. In the second phase of the drill and the visualization, imagine that the attacks are hitting you, you are badly hurt, you fall down, but you still continue to look at the opponent as he moves away. In this phase, you got hurt, probably once, fell down, but remain ready. Visualize the attacker moving away from you. Each and every of these drills of losing, one should visualize once or maximum twice. In this phase of the drill, the attacker surprised you, you got hit, but you managed to overcome the impact and damage, and now you deal with the second attack, assuming the attacker is attacking more than once. So now you're defending, counter-attacking, and moving away from the danger zone. Visualize the attack and the attacker, get as much as data from the details around, defend and counter-attack against the first attack, be efficient with the different ingredients of the solution, the hand defense, the body defense, the counter-attack, and then move away from the danger zone. Escape. In this phase, you're even better. Visualize the attacker's actions, defend efficiently, counter-attack efficiently, continue with more counter-attacks, and then move away from the danger zone. Here too, you are winning, defending, counter-attacking efficiently, disarming the opponent, and moving away from the danger zone. These sections of the drill that you are very efficient with your responses, with your actions, with your techniques and tactics, these are the phases that you need to repeat over and over. From defeat to success, these are the two corners, sides of the drill, the two extremes. You start with visualizing the defeat, and you do it once or twice. Then every time you visualize the situation, the problem and your solutions, you're getting better. Between 5 and 10 stages, you reach complete success. Then you need to practice 10 to 20 times more, only the success stage. This is a full circle of this drill of from defeat to success, this accepting defeat and investing in loss. The goal of the drill, overcoming anxiety and fear from getting hurt and dying. In this fighting drill, we see one person is attacking, the other one is defending and counter-attacking, all in slow motion. Fighting drills, the slow fighting at a very close range, the infight. In this training drill, in this game, practically both are doing slow fighting. One is doing attacks and counterattacks, defenses, body movements, all in order to foil the opponent's actions and simulate strong counterattacks and attacks that in reality would prevent the attacker, would prevent the enemy from continuing. We can see a series of attacks, specific tactics and techniques in order to prevent the opponent from striking you or kicking you or attacking you at close range. One has to deal sometimes with elbow strikes, with knees, with attacks at a very close range, which means there is a need to control the limbs of the opponent to prevent attacks and continuous attacks. Counterattack, fight, attack, and eliminate the danger as soon as possible. Slow fighting drill, including attacks, counterattacks, defenses, some throwing, sweeping techniques. In slow fighting, one learns how to identify, decide, and execute different types of techniques. Many of the techniques are responses to opponents' actions. Use all your resources all type of attacks and counters, all type of defenses that you can use that are applicable in each and every situation, practically utilizing different types of techniques, tactics, all is supported by the mental capabilities and the physical abilities. Light fighting and slow fighting with protective gear. Here we can see the two opponents challenging each other with attacks, defenses, counters, tactics, while they have protection to the different parts of the body, whether these are targets or striking limbs. In this fight, one should not use very heavy impact, should not attack the partner to cause damage. This is sort of a drill, naturally a fighting game, where you are acquiring experience while applying all material that you have been learning. A bit faster drill, where both are executing light fighting, medium speed, attacking, defending, moving. From time to time, the participants are simulating, checking, scanning to see if there are any other opponents in the area. Practice makes perfect. The more you train in these drills, the better you are becoming. Naturally, this is only one drill, one phase of training and preparing fighters to deal with violent confrontation of the nature of a fight. 4-against-1 drills. Another type of fighting games, and here 4 people are attacking 1. We can do this game, these fighting drills, at different levels of difficulty and danger. For instance, in the first drill you can see here 1 kick shield that you can punch or kick to, 2 knives in the hands of 2 opponents, and the last partner holds a stick, simulating a stick-wielding opponent. The defender in the middle is going to make a round for about 3 minutes. That's a standard for us. Attackers, the regular thing is, you attack 2 attacks and then pause for 2 seconds. The kick shield is getting closer to our fighter in order to reach and touch. Fighter should be moving correctly, attacking, counter-attacking, keeping the distance, maintaining peripheral vision that is spread out to get as much as stimulus as possible, much as data as possible from the environment. Fighting and self-defense in urban environment. We also call it CQB, close quarter battle. Here, for Krav Maga, the meaning is you're fighting in confined areas, near walls, near corners, staircases, entering or leaving a room, corridors, and more. Violent confrontation near a wall, one can use the wall as a surface in which to hit the opponent's head on. During the confrontation, move diagonally forward, turn and push the opponent's head into the wall. Strong strike to the wall can easily cause a knockout to a person. Here the wall is being used as a shield and a barrier to other opponents, meaning while leaning on the wall or being close to the wall, other people cannot get close to you, and if there is an opponent in front of you, you can push him away, keep him away with kicks and attacks, and at the appropriate time, move away from the danger zone. Not to be trapped there too long. While and if you are leaning on a wall, please be sure that you are not hitting your head to the wall while trying to remove yourself from an opponent's range. During time of need, the defender can move towards the corner. Here you are practically protected from 270 degrees. In this place you can keep the enemy, the attacker or attackers away from you. Using your legs, be careful not to hit your parts, your head or bones into the wall, and when the appropriate moment happens, you can defend, counterattack, and naturally move away from a danger zone. The self-defense section, we are dealing with being pushed to the wall. An attacker may try to slam you to the wall in order to create damage to you. Here's an example of a light break fall on the wall and continuing immediately with attacks to eliminate the danger. The hand that is far away from the wall may hit the wall with the palm to do light absorbing, and the hand close to the wall will break fall with the forearm. Practically, this break fall is a soft one. After first section of the break fall, one should continue by locating himself correctly and counterattack. Simulating different situations of self-defense. It is important that in a CQB environment, you will train in applying the different Krav Maga techniques, the different self-defense techniques, near the wall, near a corner, and also important to practice while you are entering or leaving a room. Here's an example of neutralizing a pistol threat while you are leaving a room. Naturally, the attacker may be a bit closer or a bit more further away from the door opening. When you leave the room, the gun may appear at different angles and different ranges. If you suspect that a certain area is dangerous, naturally try to foresee any upcoming situation, avoid or deter it as soon as possible. Different techniques to stretch the shoulder areas from different directions. Stretching, of course, different muscles. Sit down, send your hands behind your back, try to touch your thumbs one to the other. Then move forward with your body, with your pelvis, until you feel that your shoulders are being stretched. Now bend your elbows. This will create much of a stronger stretch. You can do PNF by contracting the shoulders, pressing the hands to the ground, and then relaxing and continuing to stretch. Every few seconds, try to advance a bit more with the pelvis. Stretching the shoulder in a forward motion. Bend one knee, the same side, put the back of the hand on your waist, insert the elbow inward, and press it lightly against the knee. Then with the other hand, grab your shin and climb up the knee area. We assume here that one is not so flexible. At this point, pull your knee inward and create pressure and torque and leverage on the upper arm and on the shoulder. One can do the same thing with two hands. When two back of the hands are on the waist, both knees are bent, and the knees are trying to close the elbows, so there's a stretch on both shoulders. We didn't show this technique here. Stretching the back side of the shoulder and the muscles around that area. Lie down, put one arm under your neck and upper chest area, put the other arm stretched forward. You bend and bring up parallel to the ground the knee of the side that you are stretching. So if you stretch the right shoulder and the right arm is under the chest, the right knee will come in the direction of the shoulder. Try to sink down with your chest. Every time you exhale, relax and sink. Naturally, one should do the technique also to the other direction. To stretch the front side of the shoulder plus the chest, stand on your knees and hands. Send one hand to the side, just a bit above the shoulder level. Turn towards the ceiling and sink down with the shoulder. You will feel a stretch. It will be focused on the upper chest if your palm is higher, or only on the shoulder when the palm is a bit low. A similar drill to stretch the shoulder, but more in a relaxed manner. Lie on your stomach, send one arm to the side. Turn the body to the opposite direction, climb up with your knees. Then bring the upper leg up, put the heel in front of the ankle of the base leg, of the low leg, and press that knee upwards using your upper hand. This creates a stronger torque to the spine and the whole body. And like this is stretching the lower hand. Stretching while using the PNF, the contract, relax and stretch, in pulses. Stand on one knee, send the other leg straight forward, toes up, straighten your back, then from the joints of the hips, bend upwards and forwards and down to stretch mainly the hamstrings, the calf muscles and the back, all of the side of the leg that you are stretching. Every time you exhale, relax more and bend more forward and downwards. Try to pull the toes to you to stretch better the calf muscles as well as the hamstrings. Forward lunge while the knee is on the ground. Keep your upper body straight. Send the pelvis downwards and forward towards the front heel. You should feel a strong stretch in the area of the hip flexor, the front of the hip of the stretched leg, which is the rear leg. This exercise is usually stretching also the muscles in the groin area. Here too, use the PNF, contract, relax and stretch. Do it several times. Stretching the glutes, the butt area. Bend your knees while they are more or less in front of you, in a shape of a V. One foot is sent backwards and the other bring the heel to the front knee. Straighten your back, lean forward and downwards towards the front thigh. Then push and pull yourself horizontally so the head and chest will go to the direction of the front heel and the other knee. You can do PNF of contracting the whole area of the buttocks, abdominal and back. Relax and continue to stretch. Do it several times. A split. According to your capabilities and limberness, open one leg forward and send the other one backwards. Your torso, the upper body, should be as straight as possible. Send the pelvis downwards. You're stretching mainly the hip flexor of the back leg and all the back side of the front leg, meaning front leg, hamstrings and calf muscles. Groin muscles are also being stretched. It is advisable to put some time with the PNF. Forward split while stretching the quadros with grabbing and pulling the back leg. You can start with a forward lunge. The back knee is on the ground. Grab the back foot with the front hand. It's important not to pull the back foot to the outside. This will create pressure on the knee and can cause you damage. Slide the front leg forward, the back leg backwards, creating a split while pulling the back foot towards your spine. Go to your knees and to your forearms. Spread your knees apart, sink with your pelvis down. You can assist the opening of the legs by lifting and pressing your knees to the sides with the corresponding hands. In order to create a stronger opening, you can advance a bit with your pelvis and body, enlarge the distance between the legs, between the knees, and then send your body backwards. This is stretching the groin area. To work on the hip joint, you can now lift your foot so the shin will come to the vertical position, perpendicular to the ground, and then put it down. So up and down a few times with each leg. Imi's dream was that every man, woman and child would be able to defend themselves. That's why he created Krav Maga. 20 years after I started with him, I was in the right place and time to start spreading the system. For me, it was a mission, naturally. I felt that I love it, I'm good in it, and naturally I can support my family using it, doing it. Now, the Krav Maga, 20 years after that, is quite spread. The organization is big. We have dozens of countries. And it is important to keep pure the system, the values, the integrity. You guys are gaining the powers, you're gaining the knowledge. You have to use it for the good. You have to transfer it to others. When you do that, it should stay with the same lines of assisting people, giving them capabilities to defend themselves, to protect others, to defend our own country even sometimes. With the powers that you are gaining, with the knowledge that you are acquiring, comes also the responsibility. You must be responsible for your thoughts and for your actions. And if you are teaching Krav Maga, naturally, except of transferring this knowledge of us to the students, the fighting capabilities, the self-defense, the protection, you should also transfer the values. Imi is not with us anymore. Still, we are going in this way. We now will not be able to reach you and teach you and work with you. Still, you will need to continue with the same guidelines, with the same values, and you should transfer these values to whoever you are in contact with, especially your students. All the best.